What a game. Makan Enese, no matter what happens between Barca and Madrid this weekend, Barca will drop points. Barca will drop points. And it nearly became Barcelona. And Minim say too much of a rotation from Hansi Flick. And I say it is just fatigue of the Barca players. I think the fatigue is one of them. And I'll probably make a say Barca 4 players, they look like a Bre Ayabem. And I think that Barca 4 will not win the treble. I think say either they'll win a double or they'll just win one trophy. At best, double na Barca bench. Hi Fiifi-Manfred on YouTube. Thank you very much so much for choosing. So I will subscribe to the channel and Michelle. Subscribe to the channel, turn your notifications, send them anytime your content ever drop and we're first to have it here on Fiifi-Manfred on YouTube. Na bibia and yeah come pa and fama na bibia come in real and come first of all, going into this match week, I explained said the way Madrid if want to free the conversation for the Spanish La Liga anymore. For the Champions League, our focus will solely be on the Spanish La Liga, and whatever they will do to make sure so on the Spanish La Liga, they will make sure say on concentration, everything that they do here or Spanish La Liga, so they will leave no stone unturned. And you see, say against Bilbao. We all know say Bilbao versus Madrid a tough game to play. In fact, Madrid if one will not get it easy when they are playing against Bilbao. Bilbao won't get it easy also, some against Madrid. But Barca have a little bit of a favorable game because Madrid are quite away from home. Almost Barcelona, they are playing at home against Celta Vigo. It's a Celta de Vigo side. Throughout the season, they are in a situation where they need to augment on stand or Spanish La Liga. And they will not be drawn into any relegation conversation. They will be on person. And Oshe Deri and Barca have gone through. Barca are quite away to Dortmund. The performance, it wasn't good enough. Before the game, Hansi Flick said, the Dortmund performance, it is true. It wasn't a good performance. Now, Oshe training and it looked as if said the players are up and in tune with the challenge of Celta Vigo. And I remember both of you at the start of the Luis companions, or a very, very certain said they will do enough to make sure say on being the results or the Luis companions on them. So he will wait to see what happens. But Hansi did that Flick echo started a match on. Now the starting lineup was a little bit different from the starting lineup by Union. And what happened is that before the game, the area gave echo how the game started, how Barca started game, what was really into the game. Now you're very, very interested. How were they going to get how they wanted from the game in terms of Barca so winning, no more control game, nothing, no more shame, no more the results that they want. Under too much pressure, if Nyamia much Madrid managed to still get the points against Tima, your friend Athletic Bilbao. And the game was really fun. So actually the starting lineup of Barca area match, it was a very, very interesting starting lineup with a lot of changes. Changes in players that started game. Of course, first of all, Lamine Yamal alone is starting lineup. And I said several times that because of accumulated fatigue, one of the things that Hansi Flick is to manage the players now, given the number of games that they've played, because games not ever taken fast. Game against Vigo. We are midweek game. Weekend we are Copa del Rey. Then they go on and play in the Champions League semi-final first leg, then the Champions League semi-final second leg. Like holding these are all going to be really, really tough games. You ask yourself, okay, how are Barca going to manage this? It is starting lineup or they call match was a regular Barcelona 4-2-3-1. But with some changes. Dorado Martina left back, Inigo Martinez, Pau Kabasi, Jules Koundé, Frankie de Jong, Pedri, Fermin Lopez, Ferran Torres, Rafinha, and our bench friend Robert Lewandowski. And the plan was that so watch Celta Vigo for now. When all of the teams on the middle table club and even low bottom clubs, it was Spanish La Liga, almost ball against Barcelona at Barca Fofia, they usually sit in a mid block and transit and try and attack the high line. Now, the way Hansi Flick is setting up the Barca team is to take the game to opponents. I don't think say what city off them the opportunity of the high line if you do your third man runs well. And you could tell say when the game started, Celta Vigo had opportunities from their third man runs. They could open up those ones, sometimes certain ones offside, any sign but there were opportunities for Celta de Vigo to take up those opportunities and hit Barcelona for them. It was there for the taking. In fact, it was there for the taking. But you see, you do the point of the season where playing well doesn't matter. Like, say, Ubi Bonai, football fair, Ubi to channel. It doesn't matter. What matters most is the most important thing on the scoreboard. So when I will lead it, when watch the most goals, what should be 4-3, what should be 3-1, what should be 3-2. Like, it's so important. Say game in a year ball. You get things like that when you are playing in certain times of the season, at this part of the season. That is the most important thing. What matters is not about on our board the most possession. No, that is essentially useless at this part of the season. So Barca game, the starting game, it didn't take too long. And in fact, it wasn't way long. And our brand here, friend Ferran Torres, you could tell that Barca were coming closer to try and get the opening on until our brand here, friend Ferran Torres came in and then got the first goal. Time of Ferran Torres in the first goal. It was in the 12th minute, and Inigo Martinez, Inigo very good line breaking passes now, and because pitch are constricted, center backs are push up usually ahead of their center circle area more. So Inigo receive ball on Fiifi-Manfred. Once you receive the ball from that area, or a very good line breaker, or breaking lines, then back, you will find will be in between the lines, and it was Ferran Torres. He found him from the left-hand side because of the absence of Lamine Yamal. Abrante friend Rafinha Kobo on the right-hand side, then Ferran Torres on the left-hand side. So he found Ferran Torres on the left, and a Ferran carry ball and cut it inside. Then shot at goal. And Makani several times here. One of the reasons in this season, Barca have been literally extraordinary and almost difficult to beat since apart from other things, they seem to have different types of goal scorers across the field of play. Maybe I'll be go. Like Barca beats when you go from Ferran Torres, or when you go from Rafinha, or when you go from Lewandowski, Pedri will go, Gavi will go, Juice Kunde will get you a go, like Lamine Yamal. These are all players of Barca team. Daniel Mobo will go. These guys will give you goals. And because the burden of the goal scoring is shared, I mean, Rafinha, Lewandowski, Lamine Yamal score the most goals, but then again, the peripheries will also get you goals. So in games where it's difficult for you to win the match, these guys do pep up. And it was first from my branch, a friend Ferran Torres. And I went onto X quickly, and I put tweet. He said the importance of Ferran Torres for this Barca team, and also a squad depth, for Barcelona cannot be understated. He is a super important player, and that's why Valencia for the front the shark. When he has to pounce, he will pounce. And on the day where Barca needed somebody to pounce, a bright friend Ferran Torres pounced and then got a job. Now, circle back. We have seen it several times this season. I mean, only a few times this season. Barca share first goal, and then the going has become difficult. And every day, I'll take you back to the Stadio de Dalu or Benfica, Comono, where Barca went into the game. Kokoye 4-1. They needed to turn the game around. And that is where, for me, Barca is show character growth and mental growth, mental strength and fortitude. In a match, and almost break, almost that form 4-1. I mean, how are they going to turn the game around? And he took the personalities on the field of play. One, Rafinha, Lewandowski, Ferran Torres, Gavi, Pedri. These guys stood up and they dictated the pace of the game. And then it's literally the same, because Celta Vigo for it in a way that I thought it wasn't a good way for Celta for it to get the equalizer. And time Abrante friend Boja Iglesias, Emma Born a 1-1 at that point in time, cutting across the face of goal, slotting it in. I think that it wasn't a good man for Wojciech Szczesny. In fact, that Sam Boja go no share. Celta Vigo had come close a couple of times, and it was a very, very good save from Wojciech Szczesny tech. Double save at some point in time. One at his near post, the other one going down quickly to make sure so over blockade the ball and prevent Barca from going up. But Anche, you call half time ever in the second half. Next Vigo for now, take an hour and 2-1. Then Daniel make the game no. Change Barca, change. Daniel comes in, Lamine Yamal comes in, and you have to sort of say, hey, maybe a boy you need Diniaka Kudri. Can Barca really get something out of the game, or it's not going to happen? How is it going to be like with respect to FC Barcelona? And the way I gave no, I didn't more. It didn't keep long. Barca were literally controlling the game. Then a central mistake from a brand here, your friend Frankie de Jong, in the center part of the area. Then the ball again fell into the hands of Celta Vigo. Again, a branch here, friend Borja Iglesias slotted the ball there, then made it 2-1. It was a big deal at that point in time because you could tell say we a mistake from a branch here, friend Frankie de Jong, and yet just an issue is a mistake. But Barca are down by 2-1. How are they going to turn this game around? How is it going to be done? How are they going to make sure say ball no more at 2-1 no? They will stay in the game as long as possible. And Macacho said, one of the best attributes of Barcelona and Hansi Flick said, they just don't stop believing. Even when the game becomes difficult, constantly they keep on going on, they keep on trying to get the results that they have to get, and then they push it. And that's exactly what they did on the night. And at 2-1, now even worse. Say, Bonake 2-1. Now after the Borja Iglesias enya the third goal. I'm already visit midweek. Abrante friend Sergio Gurasi enya the hat-trick against Barcelona. Then now against team friend Barcelona in the Spanish La Liga, Borja Iglesias enya the hat-trick against team friend Barcelona. So then what is going on? Barca defense no, Alex Lomo concede goals. But Emma Rims Macacho said at this point in time in the league, nobody actually cares about the number of clean sheets you keep. Nobody cares about how well you play. Obia are interested in whether you're able to win the game or not. So Barca had to win the game. They needed to find a way to win the game at 2-1 and make our same way. Barca normally 4-2 behind at Benfica winning 5-4. Now Barca 1-0 behind Real Madrid winning 5-1. Now Barca 2-0 behind Atletico de Madrid winning 4-2. Barca 3-1 behind Celta de Vigo winning 4-3. Maybe the true Ramontada Kings now a team a friend in Barcelona for, and you could tell from the touchline the flick and then the flick and then the backroom staff no smash it iPad into the gun when the referee had whistled for the foul on Dani Olmo in the final minutes. In the end, VAR reviewed the play and awarded a penalty to Barcelona at that point because now Barca for Edrin said they were going to lose the match, you know, because just on the board draw because now 3-1 at that point in time. So at 3-1, I mean, Obi beside the whole questions. How are you going to turn the game around? Is it going to happen for Barcelona for now? And I say it's not going to happen. How are Barca going to make sure so they get the maximum points from there and then go on to get the win now? In fact, at 3-1, that is where Barcelona finally decided to make some changes over there and then bring in some very, very important players. So they can get a job done. Now, Barca had Dani Olmo on the bench. Barca had Lamine Yamal on the bench. Barca could now change from baby Omobo Abrantia, your friend Rafinha, and then bring in Abrantia, your friend Lamine Yamal. After giving a 3-1, that's when Hansi Dieter Flick and Lamine Yamal by and Dani Olmo together about Park, so to try and really impose themselves in the game and get something out of match. Borja Iglesias said in hat-trick now. I mean, it looked as if said it was going to be the end of it for them. And Madrid, the one we are watching, and the news said they could close the gap from 4 to 1 point if Celta Vigo won, if they win against Atletico de Madrid. That would have been a huge opportunity for Madrid to turn the league around. Then Dani Olmo comes on, and Dani Olmo does Dani Olmo things. And again, the depth in quality for Barcelona, how space control from some of these players, Ferran Torres, Dani Olmo, these are the real players. And you see, the focal point of players, Lamine Yamal, Rafinha, Lewandowski, these guys can have bad games. Lewandowski, really bad game, asked to be brought off. But when Dani Olmo comes in, when Ferran Torres comes in, that is where you see that a team is growing. Teams grow not when their main players still always are on the front page. It's when periphery players sometimes come up, stand up, and they get counted and they play the games that they are supposed to play. At 3-2 at that point in time with a brilliant assist from Brantia friend and Rafinha. And you could tell us at that point in time after Rafinha home back game. And at that point in time, 33 goals, 25 assists in all competitions for Brantia friend Rafinha. I mean, you need to give credit to Rafinha. Technical leader on the field of play when Barca needed him. Or my assist, then he involves and goes on to go and get an equalizer. At that point in time, I knew that a Ramontada was possibly coming, and that was assisted by Brantia, your friend Lamine Yamal. She will be Lamine Yamal born from very good close control from Brantia friend Jules Koundé by him, and then of course an excellent cross into the path of Brantia friend Rafinha. Then Rafinha got a job done, making it 3-3 at that point in time. At this point, Barca wanted to get a job done. At that point on, Celta Vigo phone came close about 2 or 3 times. Daniel Mobebe had a chance when Tinian shed until say a bunch of friend Lewandowski catch also a break on Fiifi-Manfred on the Gavi about the show. Then in the 9 numbers of the game, Gavi had a good chance when Tinian shed Eric Garcia, Paul Victor, and so at 7th minute. Then Celta Vigo had a chance to make it 4-3. They couldn't get a job done over there in the last minute. There was a massive call. A brand friend Danny Omo was brought down. VAR Kokoshe and Omoji said it was a penalty. Key moment, it could decide everything. I think that is the moment Ebe decided Liga for Barcelona. I agree. I think the Barca have won the league with exactly what happened today on the field of play. Barca completes Ramontada and goes 7 points clear of Real Madrid, who faces Athletic Bilbao tomorrow. Proper Ramontada for Barcelona for and how they dominated the game. You can't help but give them a lot of credit for the kind of football that they've played. They've shown it throughout the season, FC Barcelona. And of course, you give them a lot of credit for Juma Maya, how well they've been playing. We'll wait to see if Nyamia Mochina Madrid Fono can react and also get a job done. 2 La Liga matches for Barcelona that might have won them the league. 1-3 down against Vigo and now 2-0 down against Atletico Madrid. I think so. I think that these are the 2 matches that possibly look like they've won Barca for the league over there, because of course Oshes Atletico match now. Barca were down by 2-0 at the opening numbers of the game. Maybe it was going to be tough for them. Then they come up and then they get the result. After the game, one beside Celta Vigo for player Borja Iglesias. I imagined it ending better when we were up 3-1. We knew how tough it was to play in this stadium and to hold the results like that. But of course, Barca are good. And to flex at halftime, I told Rafinha, come on, think positively. We need you on the pitch as a leader. And then he went in and then put in the performance. I think one of the best things also is how Flick has gotten the best out of Sani players now and then gotten them to do a very, very good job. I'll hold them for team, my friend, FC Barcelona. And they've done some good stuff. Good stuff. Good stuff. And of course, wait to see how things are going to pan out over there and see how things will go around. We'll see how things are going to go on. Of course, Fiifi-Manfred on YouTube. We'll draw the curtain on an analysis on the Barca game. Proper Ramontada Kings. We'll be back with you very soon with some more analysis. Until then, we'll take care. Bye-bye.